Well, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Deck Sim live stream. Today is the 23rd of June 2023, 3 minutes past 3 in the afternoon here in the United Kingdom. We're back in Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're in a Boeing 787-10. Now, the first ever time we flew this aircraft was when Microsoft Flight Simulator was released. I was given early access. We flew the default aircraft back then, and it was very, let's just say, default. Not the best, fine for getting from A to B, but that was it. But working title, who I'm sure some of you heard about, they modded the Assessor Citation, I think it was, in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and did a really good job of it. They've had their hands on the default 787 and default 747. Now, I've been sort of looking at it in some posts about it when it was in beta. It was released with Microsoft Flight Simulator yesterday. I had a little flight of it yesterday, some of them this morning, some of the members watching. Really quite impressed. They've done a lot of things to make it work correctly. The correct displays with the correct fonts, all on the FMC and all on the ND. You can load up the FMC accurately. They're independently set. It's really quite good, and I thought I'd do a bit of an impromptu stream just to show you what you get with this aircraft. Now, you can have a look at the release notes online about the aircraft here. I mean, I'll just read some of them. It's a complete visual overhaul of the avionics, accurate font symbology, the look, operation and feel as per the True Life 787, accurate PFD, the whole flight model's been rewritten, so accurate pitch and power settings, alternate systems, integrated checklist for the MFDs working, thrust management system, automation. It's basically reworked from scratch, and I did a little flight of it, and I was like, you know what, it's pretty good. VNAV was working, LNAV was working, and as I said, we'll do a little test flight today. Now, we are flying, we are in London Heathrow. This is the INI scenery for London Heathrow. We're flying to Leipzig, flight time of just 1 hour and 15 minutes. We're going to do it as realistically as possible. We've got the checklist here. Flying it like the 737NG. Now, I can see there's so much stuff in the 787 that's been put in the MAX. I've been flying the MAX for the past 6 months now. Like the displays, how things appear. It's like, wow, it looks just like the MAX here. So there's so much automation in this as well. For example, you just start the engines. You have to do very little before taxi. Just basically configure the stab trim and the flaps. That's about it. It's so Airbusy. It's unreal. But yeah, really had fun flying it. We're going to have the same thing here today. Now, it's just the default livery, and we're going to use the sim brief profile I found for this. So we're going to monitor its fuel burn, take the same payload as I've planned on the sim brief flight plan as well, and see how the add-on compares as well. Let's see who we got here in chat. We've got Aaron Hastings says, afternoon Cap, hope you're doing well. Early fly-by-wire level at least. I think it's pretty good there. Flighter said it well. For a default plane, it's super good. I have to admit, you know, I will happily take this aircraft on VATSIM, I think, in a stream in the not too distant future. Andrew B says, maybe a future aircraft for your career flight, Data Sim 737 to Dreamliner pilot. I'm quite happy at my current airline, even though we might perhaps get 787 orders in the future. Maybe not, I don't know. Pilot Mike is your check airman. Now, I would love to have Mike here today. Mike, if you don't know, guys, is one of my friends I went to school with who helps moderates the channel. He's in Discord and puts a lot of input in for me. He is a 787 first officer, so it would have been very useful to get hold of him prior to this, but I only published this stream about 2 hours ago. Hello person says, are you going to the Expo Flight Deck Sim? No, this is my penultimate day off. I've got one more day off tomorrow, back to work, so it was impossible for me to make it. I might have gone if I was off or on annual leave. Lil Pilot says, sim brief soon, 787, 747. Yes, I heard this sim brief integration coming. At the moment, you do have to put it in manually. Lizard Doggo says, hello from FS Expo in Houston. Very, very cool. He said it's like an Airbus. I know it, I did it, but it is quite similar. It's crazy. Will you switch to Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 when it comes out? I don't know yet. We'll have to see next year, but it's a whole brand new sim. No doubt I'll download it and install it, but let's see what happens to develop a Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 or just Microsoft Flight Simulator. Very interesting news, and that was published last week. Up the Cat says, fly-by-wire makes so much good for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Happy Microsoft saw the potential partnered with them. Is that the team, fly-by-wire? I'm not so sure, but I'm guessing they have partnered up with them. Anyway, let's jump on in towards the aircraft. It's completely cold and dark. I personally, you know, aesthetics, I don't like the nose of the 7.8. I think it looks a bit, I don't know. There's an animal that's like a worm, and it looks like that. I just don't think it's very pretty. That's just my opinion, but you can see it's the stretch version. when you compare it to the 7878, which does look very stumpy. This is a proper length, good proportions for that. But no, I've never liked the nose of this aircraft. Anyway, that's personal opinion. I don't think there's much of a... No, there's no cabin, unfortunately, modded. Hopefully in time we'll have someone make a cabin for us. But let's jump on into the cockpit next to Jim. There we go. And I'll press this and... oh yeah, flawless as ever. Right, let's turn this... funky jazzy music down. The accountants love it. Yes, very, very efficient, of course. No work. Yeah, Working Title did this one. Yeah, I don't know what the FBW up to cat. I don't know if you're referring to something else there, but Working Title did this, and a great job they've done. Right, so I pretty much follow what I do in the 7.3 to get this aircraft set up. However, for your benefit, we'll utilise this little checklist here to get the aircraft configured. Perhaps you're new to the 787 and it'll be quite useful for you to follow to get the aircraft configured. Not only on top of that, with this latest Microsoft Flight Sim update, Microsoft Flight Simulator have published manuals for all of their Living Legend aircraft and this one too, so you can get a little PDF document online to follow a setup and do a quick tutorial flight, which is pretty cool. Right, let's get the aircraft powered up anyway. So battery switch is on. There we are. The cockpit's very quiet, even though I've got Microsoft Flight Simulator turned up as high as possible. The sounds in this are very, very quiet. So battery switch is off. I think these are electric pumps and engine-driven hydraulic pumps. We leave these switches in the off position for now, and we'll turn on external power. There we are, so the aircraft's getting powered up. And the first thing I just wanted to show you, I mean, look at the displays here. They look just like they are the Max. I've not flown the 7.8, but the Max has the same screens, I believe, as the 7.8. And it looks really, really good. The correct fonts, the correct text size. Look at all this. All working. I mean, the ones at the bottom here, I don't think are working at EFIS and CBs. But look at all this. And this is a default aircraft now. And the FMC looks really well. It can hold LNAV, VNAV, vertical profile. Really, really impressed when I flew it earlier. I've not done an entire test sector at the moment for this full flight, but having done a flight from A to B earlier from, where did I go on the test sector? From Tenerife to Lanzarote, I was really, really impressed. Right, so just before we do the pre-flight here, one thing I hope they'll have in time is a functioning EFB, because at the moment they don't have anything, and the only way to load fuel and weight is via the default Microsoft Flight Sim weight and balance sheet. Oh, undefined. Why is it doing this? It didn't do this on the test sector. Undefined. Right, well, what I did, I think, if I grab the sim brief profile here as well, we're going to use standard fuel. The weather's a bit iffy in Leipzig, but nothing that's bad. It's just heavy rain and strong winds, but I just want to take default fuel today just to see how the flight plan profile burns there. So it's 14.5 tons for a 1 hour 15 minute flight, so we need to put in 14.5. so let's just drag this until we get 14.5. so what about 7 to a side, so let's just rotate this here. 7 or 7 6, it's a big jump, isn't it? 6, well, that's 7609 aside. Let me get my calculator. It's going to be 15. It's a bit too much, really, but I don't think I can. Well, maybe I can put the exact figure here. If I put in 14.6 divided by 2 is about 7.5. So we'll put 7.3 aside. Let me just change this here. 7.3. So hopefully in time we'll have an accurate fuel planner and payload planner. 7.3. Oh my god. There we are. So 7.3 aside, that's standard block fuel. And then payload. Let's just close that here. We're going to drag, I think I said 25%, 75%? So 75%. No, it's changed all the figures now. So we want a gross weight of about 202.1. It's 227. This didn't happen on the test sector. Let's just lower this until we get a takeoff weight of 202.1. So there we are, 202.395. So it's pretty much exactly the same. So we've got 51% load, 75% of a test sector, and fuel 14%. So we need a minimum of 14.6. We've got 14.6 on board. Payload is 52.3 tons of bags and premium and business class and economy passengers, and that's giving us a total takeoff weight of 202.4. This is based on 202.1, so it's pretty much exactly the same. So fueling and payload is complete. Hopefully in time we'll get a dedicated loading platform via this EFB or something with working title. Let's pop that up here. Let's have a look at the checklist again. Again, this is just for your benefit so you can see what I'm doing. So IRS to on. Very simple, just 2 switches here. Primary flight control guard closed. IFE cabin utility power is on, same as the 7.3. APU generator switches, they're always on. We'll start the APU. You just rotate that to start. That's it. And then you don't have to change the bus around or anything. Wipers off. Flight deck door power, where's that? Oh yeah, there it is. So we'll turn that on. We'll deselect that. Emergency exit lights are guarded and armed. Window heat switches are on. Engine hydraulic pumps are on, but we'll leave the C1 and C2 ELEC pumps and L&R ELEC pumps to the off position now. Seatbelt signs to on. Fuel pumps stay off at this stage. Anti-ice is auto, so you don't have any pro-heat or... I don't know how this works. How does it know when there's icing? It's amazing. Navigation lights come on. Logo lights as required. We'll just turn them on. Pack switches are in auto. Trim air's on. I think the AP bleed is completely automatic, so you can already hear conditioned air coming into the cabin. Trim air switches are on. Flight directors are on. Now they're not independently modelled, unfortunately, so when you turn on one flight director, it turns on both. Auto throttle arm. Autopilot up, bank limit set to auto, auto brake to RTO, speed brake levers down, flaps are up, fuel cutout switches to cut off, and the transponder to standby. Now I am offline, as I said, on this sector just because it's the first one here, and then it's ready for engine start. So we obviously need to do a few other additional things like load the FMC, set up the MCP as well. So live time, live weather. We'll be flying a Brookmans Park 7 Golf. The stop altitude on this is 6,000 feet. The runway heading will be departing off runway 27 left off for Brookmans Park 2 Golf. The runway heading is 269, so we can preset that here. Excuse me, I've only just had my lunch. How do I turn this heading knob? There we are, 260. Takes a while, 269, sorry. And we'll set V2 later. So the MCP's set. Now this FMC, super impressed with. I loaded it earlier, and it's just like loading the 737 FMC. I followed the same order. It allows everything to be calculated there. A320 already has ice detection. I know, AstroJu, but this has like auto function there. About the icing, just let it go. Robert S says, Flight Sim chat, is this avionics update still on beta? No, it's been released publicly. You can download it now with the latest Microsoft Flight Sim update. Right, let's grab the sim brief flight plan. So we'll start on the first page, index ident, really cool, 78710, with the working title nav data, and it's active until July the 12th, so that's all good. We'll go to POS in it, so it's London Heathrow, so it's Echo Golf Lima Lima. There's the coordinates. I don't know if the 7.8 line select keys Echo Golf Lima Lima for you like in the 7.3 or not. But anyway, it's in, and we're routing to Leipzig, which is Echo Delta Delta Papa in Germany. Call sign, we're offline, but we'll just use Alpaca 01. 01. And you can see once you put that in, like with the max look, it updates your flight information here. You yourself call your registrations there as well. No need to worry about a timer at the 787 like the Max. It automatically starts when you get airborne, which is excellent. Departures then, it's 27 left, Brookmans Park 7 Golf, and we'll go to the routing page. So good, really, really cool, and it's all working. It does holds as well. So from Brookmans Park, it's going to be Quebec 295. Let's look over here a little bit. Quebec 295. To Brain. From Brain, it's Mike 197 to Redford. From Redford, direct to Thatcher. That's with Maastricht. Direct to Norta. We've got 2 Nortas in the database, so it'll be the one there here, North 51. Next page. From Norta, direct to Adamos. And then it's Tango 959 to Kojak. From Kojak, we'll be flying the Kojak 1 Victor. So departures, arrivals, expecting 26 right in Leipzig. Very windy down there today. Kojak 1 Victor, and it will be a Lofto transition. I'm just going to go to the legs page. We'll activate executes. And just want to get rid of a discontinuity via the vectors, so I'm just going to go from Lofto, get rid of the vectors after 429. There we are, so we've got the routing in. Does it make it worth flying, said Ellis YouTube. Yes, very impressed with this so far, and I flew the first one. It's completely free. Well, you obviously need the Flight Sim, Microsoft Flight Sim Deluxe version, but if you've got that, it's worthwhile taking for a spin now. Now we can't have a go at you when you forget the timer. That's exactly right, John Rayfield. I'm going to only fly this aircraft moving forward. Hey, I thought they would work on the EFB, or is that still coming? Maybe you're thinking Warzy of the PMDG 737, whose EFB will be released in late 2052. I may be working title are going to make an EFB. I don't know. Right, so let's just do the performance now. So init ref again, 0 fuel weight should be around 188.1, 187.8, so 300 kilos less than what I'm expecting, which is fine. There's the estimated 0 fuel weight. Reserves for alternate Frankfurt is 6.4. Oops, let's clear 6.4. Cruising at 35,000 feet today. 35,000 feet. Cost index is 30. And that is executed. Who was that pinging up there? Thank you very much to ADS Legends 21 months as a member. Hi Captain, 21 months on board. Here is a wee joke for everyone. Hopefully it lands. What do you call a pregnant flight? Pregnant flight pilot error. Right. Oh dear. Thank you very much, ADS Legends. Appreciate it, and for your continued support. Hello, pilot. Highly recommend the FT Sim RR sounds. I'll look at that. Someone suggested that before the stream as well. I am subscribed to FT Sim by Patreon. It's not very much at all per month. So it's worthwhile looking into. I'll look into that as well, because I am using just default sounds today. What a not a joke. Anthony says 1 out of 10. I agree. Right, that's all set. So I don't have any 787 performance data, so we're going to take full TO. This is the same performance page we have in the Mac. So you have TO, TO1, TO2. We're going to select an assumed temperature of 45 degrees with full takeoff thrust. It's giving a TPR of 82.8. So the TPR is a Rolls-Royce thing. Is it to do with sort of the pressures? I've never understood TPR as a thrust setting, but it's much lower than your respective M1, which is here, but that worked on the test sector. So that's done. Takeoff flap 10 we're going to use. Flap 10, I don't know what the default one is, but the tutorial suggests using flap 10. You can line select key that for the actual CG, 5.75 units, which I'll set now. You can see it's displayed on the upper display there, 5.75. And V speeds 44, 49, 57. So, I mean, compared to the default, there's already so much more you can do. We've loaded up a routing just like we do in the 737. All the pages are accurately modelled. We've selected the routing. We've got the V speeds, and it's depicted really nicely on the ND. Look, you can select plan, menu. Look, we've got airports displayed. It's really, really quite impressive what they've done with this. So we'll just quickly step through the routing. Look. You see, there's the departure. The way it's depicted on the ND looks absolutely perfect. No complaints at all from me. We've got the top of climb point over there. Look, near Ratlow. You can see all the estimated altitude and speeds in the FMC. There's the top of descent point. And then if we zoom in here, you'll hopefully see the rest of the routing. Look, Koenig, and then it's just downwind onto the ILS 26. Right, honestly, we're going to take this onto a busy VATSIM event. I think it'll be absolutely no problem at all flying this here. Really impressed. Streamlabs, welcome, says welcome to Wanix Want Actic. Hope you're doing well. Welcome aboard. Glad you've subscribed. Welcome. 530 compared to the default. Well, this is now the default. I know 530. Well, when I say always in the past compared to default, I mean default as in no, not much work done on it at all. But yeah, this is the new default. Hopefully it lands part was the best bit. I don't know what that means, 94 tails. PMDG be released alongside the 747 in 2026, probably. Do the checklist on the ND work? I think so. I've not actually used them. So if you select checklist, there we are. Look, parking brakes set. So you can press this, I think, to just tick it as touchscreen, isn't it? Checklist complete. Look at this. Before start, we can do all that before there. It's good, isn't it? We're going to use this actually. I'm just going to verify the rest is done here though. So passenger signs are on, MCP, V2 heading track and altitude are all set, takeoff speeds are set, CDU pre-flight complete, trim is set, taxi and takeoff briefing I'll do shortly. Next is beacon on. So you can either use that, or I think this one has a, or the checklist in here has a little bit more information for you. But yeah, maybe I could just use that one before start. See, this only has, doesn't have all this configuration here to do. Anyway, we'll monitor both as we progress. So, I think we're all done. Let's just have a little brief about departure and taxi. So, we're on stand 305 here. This is the Build scenery. We're going to do pushback to face east. No, we're going to have to do a straight pushback because I've not reinstalled the pushback mod. So, we're going to have to do a default straight pushback because it's not compatible with the Phoenix A320, which we flew last week. So, it's going to be Bravo, link 28, and then full length by November 1. Straight out for 27 left. The departure, it's Brookman's Park 7 Golf. So climb straight ahead. It's at 297 bearing towards the Burr NDB, so it's Burnham. Now, how do you tune up an NDB on this? Maybe it's on the FMC. Let's have a look here. Is there like a menu? Oh my goodness, that's all the checklists. Is there like a rad nav page or something? Navrad. Aha! Perfect. So what's the NDB? 421. So how do I press that? Invalid entry. Maybe I have to type it out. 421. Oh no, what have I done here? I think I've got to get rid of the checklist first. Oh my days, what have I done here? Select MFD. It's up here, isn't it? This is where there's so many differences between the aircraft I fly and the Max as well. Let's try that again. So Navrad ADF is 421. 421.0. There we are. How do you select ADF on here? I mean, it's ridiculous we're still using them, but we are here. I don't actually know how to change this to ADF. Use the right buttons. Ooh, yes, that's how to switch the engine displays. So we do this in the Max. So when we're pilot flying has the engine instruments like this, and pilot monitoring has the large display. I love it. It's so good how it always works. Anyway, well, I can't get ADF display here. Go to TCP. What's that? You remember I don't fly this aeroplane. I've not used the right buttons. I don't know what any of this means. Use the right buttons. Use TCP. I don't need it. The black screen on the pedestal switches the ADF. You enter the 3 identifiers for nav aids 2, I believe. Okay. Well, look, we've got it tuned. We're going to use our nav for departure anyway. Right, let me just switch this over to hectopascals. We'll reset the local QNH, which is 1024 according to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Latest weather conditions, pretty nice here. It's 240 at 9, 1024, no clouds detected, 26 degrees. Very, very muggy. Thank you very much to Tom Knudsen for the £5. We've got 2 coming in actually.
Wow, this chrome filter works perfectly. It filters out all Microsoft Flight Simulator content. Now I can only hear your voice while my screen is all black.
Thank you very much, Tom. I know you don't like Microsoft Flight Simulator, but we're in it today. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Thank you. Cheers, Plump, for the £5 as well. What's he got to say here? He goes, hey, hey, hey.
Hey, how's it doing? Anyways, I had a bug in the R2 beta where nav would lose itself. I guess not recalculate when changing stars mid-flight.
Okay, bear that in mind, Plump. Thank you very much for the £5. Well, like I said, this has only just come out of beta, the first public version. And I've just seen in chat Pilot Mike. If anyone would like to say hello to Pilot Mike, he's a friend of mine I went to school with. I've known him for the best part of, well, how long now would it be? 20 years, a 787 first officer. He's flown the 737, the Embraer 145. We're glad Pilot Mike's here. Okay, Mike, help me. we need to do something at some point to show people in Discord how to fly this as well. But I've got it all set up, ready to go. I think we're fine. I'm just going to turn on the beacon light, and starting this thing, you just move the star switch to on. and go from there. So much less to do compared to the 737. Swifty says we're learning from the master, not the 787 master, I'll have you know. Right, anyway, we'll just get rid of the keyboard. I think we're all good to go. I just want to make sure I've got the takeoff page, route takeoff legs, just like in the 737. Look, and also look, if I zoom in very closely, you get a view of the airport, which is quite cool. That's an optional extra from Boeing. Right, so let's do Shift P for the pushback. The beacon light, is that flashing? I thought I turned it on. It should be on. Oops. These need to go to auto as well, I think. Well, I turned the beacon on, but I can't see it flashing. I don't know if you guys can. Oh, it's definitely flashing on the bottom. There we are. Does it have VSD? I don't know. Plup, that's 3 hours of my wage gone to oblivion. Oh, thank you very much, Plup. You don't need to donate at all. I'm more than happy to read your comments here. Hello, Hayden J. Roberts, hope you do well. Good afternoon to you. I'll see what you do and debrief you later, said Mike. Thanks. Oh, I think it's trying to push me back already. Right, parking brake released. So it's just going to do a straight pushback because I haven't got the better pushback plugin for Microsoft Flight Sim plugged in here. Excellent. Right, so starting engines. So first lever side, right engine start switch to start. And it turns off the packs for you. You can hear it get quieter. Mike, what point do I put the fuel in? And I'm right in thinking that someone put it out earlier, you can start both engines at once in the Max. In the 7.8. Sounds are very quiet, this. You do just move it to start, the other one start whenever you want. That's 20%, let's put the fuel in. Put fuel in, oh really, put fuel in straight away. So you just literally put the fuel control on whenever you want. Switch on the fuel pumps, just testing you, well done. It looks like the pressure had increased anyway. Yeah, because why not use the checklist here doesn't have all these steps. These 32 steps weren't in the other checklist. Right, I better stop pushback here. Right, starting engine number 1. It has auto start, I know. So auto start, and I can just literally move that switch up then. Auto start, ridiculous. Fuel straight away and both at the same time, modern times. Then to the left side straight away. Oh my days. What is this? See, our APU doesn't have enough oomph. Right, I better bring that checklist up again because someone's going to get cross. Checklist then, beacon on, checklist complete, before taxi next. Get rid of that one. Crazy. Do some 737s have auto start? No. A pilot like our IPO has enough oomph to power a large village, I can believe it. Doesn't even use bleed air to start. Is it electric? Electric, isn't it? Good, gorgeous looking stream, I know. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator high end. Looking very good. Well, I believe it's I believe it's all good. And that's it, look. Generators are already on. I just turned the APU off. There's no start switches. There's no Pro-P. Anti-ice is in auto. That's all configured as we wanted up here. Flaps to 10. So 1, 5, 10. Let's check the flight controls. Oh my goodness me. Oh, I completely forgot to reposition my thing for the stream. Hold on. There we go. Right, flight controls coming up. So full back, full forward, left, right. And here comes the rudders. Full right and full left. The only recall is recirc fan upper off. There we are. What we've got left now? Nothing. So anti-ice, recall, auto brake RTO, flight controls check, ground equipment clear, APUs off. Checks complete. Next is before takeoff flaps. Next is after takeoff. Very good. Let's get rid of that. Have the ND there. Perfect. Printer cam. Yeah, I know. Cheers. Yes, it's a Samsung Express 20. What's it called? A 2070W, the great printer. I was not paid to say that. Right, let's turn on the taxi, or turn off the taxi lights. Parking brake released. Do I still do a config check, Mike? Oh, I did a config check. We're off. Good thing camera was not pointing at Julia. It could have been pointing at my ugly mug. So I'll increase thrust on the outboard engine here. It does not like taxiing anything in Microsoft Flight Sim. I've got 40% N1 on the outboard and only managing 1 knot. What's the caution there? Roll your asymmetry. Is that because I've got full right on my rudder whilst taxiing, I wonder? But that's not good. Roll your asymmetry, Mike. I've not seen that. No config check like the 737 is necessary. Very good. I don't like how I've got that roll your asymmetry. Everything looks centered. Yeah, it does sound like a Hoover. Dan, the big difference I noticed between the 7.3 and 7.8 is how quickly the engines start in comparison. Well, yeah, the 737 LEAP 1Bs take about 2 minutes per engine, so it's about 4-minute start procedure. Oh, I've got rid of the Euro symmetry, fixed it. Right, we're going to have LNAV and VNAV for takeoff. All the throttles armed. We want weather radar on. Oh, superb. Thing is, weather radar gets rid of the taxiway markings. Oh, it's because of the asymmetric thrust. Roll your asymmetry. That's cool. Very, very cool. Pilot just ran over a car. Yeah, yeah. That's a ground collision. I'll put it in the safety report. Cheers, Andrew. Have a nice day at work. We'll have a fun flight. Cheers, buddy. You tested this. The LNAV was still buggy for me. It was okay, Najib. I've not done this flight, but it was okay when I flew it earlier. Right, let's do a bit of my own operator's checks here, just to make sure I'm fine. So configure checked. Flaps 10. There's no green light. Stab trim set for departure. 5.75 units. Takeoff briefing. So it looks like it's all correctly configured up there. V speeds are set for departure. 44, 49, 57 on the MCP. It's a Brookman's Park 7 Golf, straight ahead, right turn, and then we're going to head towards the Burnham NDB, right turn inbound to the Chiltern NDB, then to Brookman's Park. Not looking where I'm going. Stop altitude 6,000 feet, set on the MCP, and EDDP 2, I think, here. And we'll level off at 6,000 feet first. There we are. I think we're all good. Yeah, but at least the FO knows what he's doing. There we are. Well, there's Concorde. How times have changed, hey? Everyone thought one day that was the future of air travel. No, it's large, wide-bodied, twin-engined, turbofanned aircraft. Yeah, you don't want to turn too early here because it's quite long. Main gear's quite a way behind. Otherwise your main gear will end up in the grass. This is the new default 787 Black Wolf, but it's pretty good. We'll monitor the automation on departure and the flight director system, but it was very, very good. Much better than it was before. I want to see the wing flex. There is a lot of wing flex on this. Right, let's just hold there, short of 27 left. We'll set the parking brake. Right, so lining up, let's turn on the landing lights, nose light, right light, strobe lights are on, MCP is already all set, and transponder to TARA, so imagine we've got our takeoff clearance. Let me just check the surface wind on the METAR here. Surface wind is 280 at 9 knots, so for all intents and purposes down the runway. So parking brake released. Caution, I did a flight last night and it approached the plane just automatically with 30 flaps, went to 0 flaps. I didn't touch anything, said Joao. Uh-oh. When taxi line is about halfway on the side windows, make return. Very cool. Is it just the... Which variant might do you fly? Is it the Dash 8? Or... Is Dash 8, is there a Dash 9? This is so long compared to the Dash 8. The HUD is modelled, yes. Okay, because I clicked off screen, I couldn't. I started turning and nothing happened. Right, might have to tidy this line up here. I mean, technically, if I go full right, we might be all right here. Scrubbing the main gear, but nothing to see. They're slightly left of centre line. It's actually not as bad as I thought. Right, that'll do. Yeah, the HUD is modelled, which is pretty good. And look, you can move your eyes around it. It looks pretty good, but I don't know what I'm looking at. It's going to confuse me. Okay. Right, I think we're all ready to go. So looking at the tutorial, it talks about standing the thrust levers up there, waiting until the engine's stabilised. The toga button's modelled with the top of this button here. 80 knots check, release forward pressure. V1, it calls V1 but not rotate, so you have to rotate yourself. LNAV, VNAV's armed, so we'll just follow the flight directors. We'll climb to 6,000 feet as well. Right then, Toga's in chat. Let's see how we get on in the default 787. So I don't even need to do the timing. Yeah, better turn on yoke cam. Okay, that looks stabilised. The click spot's just on the top here. Set takeoff thrust. Yeah, I definitely need to get that sound pack. It's not bad. Okay, it takes a long time for the engines to spool up. They're still not stabilised. They should be stabilised by now. 80 knots checked, release forward pressure. There's hold. I'm just looking at the thrust setting here. 82, which is a bit higher. Look, this is very Microsoft Flight Sim. That's the only thing that I can let go of everything. It just hold stays in the middle. Right, hand off thrust levers, rotate. Oh, I don't like where the PLIs are. Positive climb, gears up. Of course they're not up, because it's Microsoft Flight Simulator. Still can't get these big buttons right. Right, my PLI looks quite close to the attitude, but now we're in the climb, looks good. VNAV speed thrust ref. So it's going to set climb thrust, I guess, at 1,500 feet. Still commanding 178 knots. There's climb thrust, and it's commanding 225. Mike, please let them know if it's doing a good job or not. It looks good to me. Right turn. Flap 5. Seems to be a bit of turbulence. The flight director and roll seems very, very sensitive. Look at it shooting off to the left there. Flap 1. And this is just comparing it to the max. 7.3. Flap 1. But this is a sensible attitude to accelerate. Maybe a little bit too low. Flaps up. The PLIs have disappeared, so there's a little bit of turbulence. You know, the indications of what I'm seeing is it's very, very good. And the attitude may be a tad low during acceleration there. So I'm now going to select vertical speed, just 2,000 feet per minute, because we're approaching our cleared altitude. The auto throttle's gone to speed, so it's going to maintain 250 knots. And trim. Whoa, the trim is very sensitive. Look, if I trim just a little bit, woo, it shouldn't be quite as sensitive as that. Right, it's all trimmed out and on the flight directors. Right, let's engage the autopilot now. So, command, or autopilot on the PFD. We've got 1 to go, 1,000 feet per minute. We'll quickly do the after takeoff checklist. So gears off, auto brake automatically has moved to off, air conditioning and pressurization. Where do I check all that information? It's going to be on one of these buttons here, systems. Where's the diff pressure and all that sort of information? Oh, look, it does give me cabin occupants there. I can't find out where diff pressure is. F, it's got to be under air, hasn't it? Fuel, hydraulics. It's good. Look at all this. Okay, I'll imagine it's pressurising and set. And look at it holding a magenta line really nicely. VNAV, yeah, we've just gone vertical speed here just to reduce the rate of climb. You can use VNAV, it works fine. I'm just following my SOPs, guys. My SOP, we reduce rate of climb to 1,000 feet per minute, 1 to go, 2,000 feet per minute, 2 to go. So that's all I'm doing here. I'm just going to level off at 6,000 feet. And look, but I have to admit, look how well it's navigating on the magenta line. Perfectly here. The depiction looks really, really good. Stats below engine. Thank you. Oh, still can't see anything. Right, and look at it. It's leveled off at 6,250 knots after takeoff checklist is complete. Very, very nice. So we'll set our cruise level now, 350. VNAV out. So that's because there's restrictions in the FMC. So if we go here to legs, let's push. Is there an out into vent button? How do you do out into vent in this? Push this. Ah, look, push. VNAV speed, thrust ref. Set standard. Passing 5-8, flight level 350 after takeoff checklist. It's good. Ah, Pilot Mike, leave it to do level offs in VNAV. I want to see how good it is. Okay, shall I? Woof. That seems a bit aggressive. Let's just level. Should we set 10,000 feet? Just see how it levels off there. And Mike is who you want to see in chat. See what he says. I'll set 10,000. Let's see what it does there. It's barreling up at. It's quite an aggressive climb up there. So I'm not going to touch anything here. See what VNAV does. So my operator now, we'd select vertical speed 2,000 feet per minute because we want to avoid an RA. The reason is if there's traffic at 11,000 feet, 1,000 feet above our cleared altitude, this will trigger an RA. Seems to be doing something about it. Speed seems to be doing quite a good job. So ours are going to out acquire, then VNAV path. I think that looks like quite a good level off. If you were doing it in the max, letting it barrel up to the cleared altitude, it would you know, do a nice smooth level off there. Seems pretty good. Air is not provided by the engine. Yes, it's electric, isn't it, for the air conditioning system? The thing is, only as electrical compressor, the engines do not provide bleed air. Almighty Snark, is there a way... Oh, Mike as well. Is there a way of checking the pressurisation? Yep, that's good, said Mike. Well, very good. There's a 787 pilot seal of approval there. Right, 35,000 feet. And I'll push that to get out of VNAV out. 330 knots now. So what's it going to do now? A steady climb, let it accelerate to 330. Let's have a look. 100, 350 checks then. Fuel check, lights, logo, APU's off, pressurization's checked, seatbelts will release. Checks complete. Airplane 20, how are you today? Doing good, thank you very much. It's got a lot of performance, that's for sure. But the displays look great, it's all the correct font. Taxi light still on. Sorry. So now it's going to pitch up to maintain 330 knots. That seems to... I mean, I am quite light. I've only got 13 tons of fuel. But, you know what? Mike's the one to ask. If you have a similar sort of loaded 7.3, you're going to get performance like this. SOP is to leave taxi light on. We'll go with Mike's SOP. My operator, we use it for clear to land, clear to take off. Juan, do you think this is the best default aircraft on any sim? Commercial jet airliners, I mean, obviously the Zebo's not default, but the stock X-plane set defaults everything was rubbish. I think, well, so far, in my opinion, yeah. I'd hope I was right. I'd hope so too, Mike. NEA 310, true, the NEA 310, yeah, that is default as well, technically, isn't it? I mean, it comes with the sim, so it probably is a little more detailed. Rob H, working time will turn the longitude into such a great aircraft. Hopefully they can do the same for the 74 and 78. Well, they've done some great steps, in my opinion, in ensuring that's the case. But we're on our way. Mega. There you go, there's your wing flex. It's well above the fuselage. Crazy, really. I don't know if that's accessible or It looks like a lot of wing flex. Yeah, the fly-by-wire and Zebo don't count. No, they're not default, are they? But the displays look absolutely smashing. I really like how good it looks. Thomas said, "Pardon, I press system, bring up air." So the pressurization system here, and not there's no engine bleed on this, is there? Packs, you've got air distribution. How does that look like? 24 degrees everywhere, master temperature. Yep, we'll try it the 747. Yeah, I finally found the pressurization is here. Look, cabin altitude, diff pressure is 5.2 psi. Are those ICAS? Are these not touchscreen in real aircraft? In the real aircraft? Ah. Com not available. Checklist. Now the climb performance looks quite good now. We're going to do a fuel check as well shortly once we reach our first waypoint up to top of climb. Probably in Redford. We should have weather radar on as well. You should have to suffer with the same awful mouse as the rest of us. That is unfair. Schwan, what's the best payload aircraft you've ever flown in any sim? Oof, tough one. I mean, I've only flown it once, but probably the most detailed is the Challenger 650 by Hot Start. Whether business jet flying is your sort of cup of tea or not, I don't know. One of my favourite, the texture quality isn't the best, is the Fearless 7.4, which we've flown a lot recently. The Just Like 146 I flew recently, it was really good. I don't genuinely have an opinion of what was the best. I don't even have a favourite. There's so many good ones now. Like even the Rotate MD-11 when it was launched wasn't the best, but I quite like that now. The Mad Dog MD-80, obviously the Zebo mod, which is freeware. The PMDG is very, very good. There's some elements of the PMDG I don't like, but it is very, very good overall. Take care, Tom. That's nice popping in. Part of my SOP is to press engine to blank lower ICAS instruments. I got you. Where is... Thank you. And do these pop up automatically, Mike, if you have an exceedance in a secondary parameter, like in the NGE? Have you flown the flyby 320? I have, skittish, but not for a long time. Doesn't match the heading though. It seems to be turning over the waypoints really smoothly, really nicely. It's not lagging. It's in my opinion, very good. The ATR's been updated. Why is it my last day off tomorrow? I'm busy tomorrow. Now this has come out, I want to do loads of streams in it. I'd love to take it on VATSIM. Maybe if I ask Mike very nicely, he can jump in with me. It'd be a good laugh. Is the update compatible with the Heavy Division mod? I don't know. I have heard of that mod for the 7.8. The Headwind A330, I've heard about that. Is it good? Ribbon is a way of setting to pounds when flying in America. Seems the plane is always in kilos. I don't know at the moment. This bit says cross the pod share cockpits update. Yes, I've never done it. Maybe we should do it at some point. Euro says, have you seen somebody make some program to link X-Plane and Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 so it's now possible to fly Zebo with Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 visuals? Crazy times we live. Oh, someone's actually done that. That's crazy. Joao, for me, the best plane is 737 by PMDG. It is one of the best. Very, very good. So So according to this, with the routing, we should get into Leipzig at 15:56, so just over an hour. Next waypoint, Redfer. I mean, it's got a lot. Mike, someone told me it can't put runway fixed points in, which is a shame. Everyone knows how much I love my fixed rings. Which airport has the best in real life ATC to work with in your experience? Great question there, Inversed Egg Yolk. Generally, all ATC is pretty professional. Certain Spanish airports, nothing against my compatriots there, but their English can be quite thick accent, can be difficult to understand. A number of them are training airports. They have improved in a number of years. But I did a go around in Barcelona less than a year ago, and it was just really poor planning. We were told to maintain 160 knots till 4 high speed because there was a Wuling behind us, about 4 miles behind us. We're like, okay, so we comply with ATC. Within 4 miles in front of us was a turboprop, and we told ATC unable 160 knots till 4 due to traffic. They said negative 160 knots till 4 due traffic behind. I said, but there's slow moving traffic within 1,000 feet of us. Continue at 160 till 4, they said, as an order. I was like, okay. Went to Tower. Tower immediately told us to fly minimum approach speed. Why are you going so fast? we just like, what? I said, look, you need to talk. We said, I don't know where. We said, we don't know where your colleague is. But less than 10 seconds ago, told us to fly, maintain high speed as an order, and now you're telling us to fly minimum approach speed. And we went around at 600 feet, and the aircraft ahead hadn't landed, and it was really. I filed a report on that, and we have to file a report for go-arounds anyway below 1,000 feet. And I explained exactly what happened in detail. I said it was I was not impressed. You know, it was potentially quite dangerous for a mid-air collision. So yeah, sometimes things like that happens, but generally the German controllers, the French controllers, the UK controllers are excellent. Spanish controllers are getting much better, and I'm not saying it's because Barcelona has improved so much, and that was just one time it happened recently. It was like, what was that all about? Anyway, I think you can, if the arrival airport approach is set. Yeah, I tried it earlier, Mike. I'll try it now. So if I wanted to select the runway page, runway 26 right, fix, it won't let me put it in. It says requested item is not in database. So I don't know if I have to put it in a different format or it just doesn't accept it at the moment. How do I cancel clear all this? There we go. Alright, approaching 35,000 feet. We reached it in 15 minutes. Does seem to do a really nice smooth level off. Into cruise. Have you set it via departure arrivals? Yes. There we go. HUD takeoff. And arrivals. There's the runway. Or do I have to put in maybe ILS 26 roads? Yeah, Mike, so here, what we do on the fix page, we put in the runway and fix rings, so you have a rough idea of how far you are away from touchdown. So we put in a 4-mile ring, 10-mile ring. Matthew Richardson, have you ever seen the Boston 80s parody on YouTube? It sounds like it's still accurate. Yes, I have heard the parody, and on certain days, it's pretty accurate, yes. Flip123, can someone explain to me how to download the avionics update 2 for the Boeing 787? You don't need to do anything, just update to the latest version of Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's available. What are you wanting to put the runway fixed page for? It'll put a top of descent point on the ND. It'll tell you when it wants to come down. Oh, that one I know. Excellent. Oh, thanks everyone for helping answer that question. Right, let's do a little fuel check at Redfer. I'll just put a random fix. Let's just try another random one at Tatcha fix. There you are. So I can put a Tatcha fix ring. / let's just put 15. Yeah, that's wicked. They've done a lot here. Working title. They've done an excellent job. What's the fuel flow usually like? I mean, we're quite light, 200 tons, and right now our fuel flow is 2.5 tons an hour per engine. Is that pretty accurate? Dan, did you not sure it's exactly what you want, but a fix should work with the airport? Okay, it's good with the airport, but it doesn't. We want the rings to be exactly from the runway threshold, not the, because if you do the airport, do it from the centre of the airport, or from the runway. Yeah, that's pretty accurate for the heavier Dash 10. Awesome. They've done a great job. Well, we're going to do a fuel check now at Redford anyway. We're only 3.5 miles away. Who thinks that Mike should do a tutorial and load it on YouTube? I think so. Look at this, look, Redford 18 minutes, exactly 18 minutes. We should have 10.4 tonnes of fuel. We got 10.8, so saved about 400 kilos. We should have burned 4 tonnes. How do I find used fuel? Used fuel. Total fuel. How to find used? Well, I can work it out anyway. We had, was it 14.6 to start? We've got minus 5.4, minus 5.4. 3.8 we should have used, and we've got 4, just about 4 tons. I'd say the fuel burn's pretty spot on here. 200 kilos saved on the burn, we've got an extra 400 on top. Pretty accurate. Welcome. 4 tons per hour. Is that the 787-8? Yeah, this is about 5, isn't it? It's super, isn't it? Should be in the CDU FMS. Let's have a look here. Fuel on arrival 6.8. We needed 6.4 to divert to Frankfurt. That looks spot on. Very, very impressed. Now, has anyone flown the 787 in prepared? In your opinion, anyone that's flown that, is it? I can't remember what the dev's called. How does that compare to this? Progress page. 4 tons for both Dash 8 and Dash 9 for a quick gross error. Can you share the profile you're using? It's just the default Leonardo Lima, default SimBrief profile for the 787-10. I think there's only one available. And it works quite well. Top of descent is 4, 8, 16, 24, just over 200 miles away. Quality wings, yes. How was the quality wings one prepared? JTFF Mud, he asked earlier if he could join on Discord voice chat to babysit you. You might have missed it. I think what I'll do, I'll give Mike a little chat, see if we can do a little flight on a stream together. Maybe record it as a video. It's been a while since I flew the quality wings, but it's pretty good. Yeah, I've heard it's quite good. Pilot bike on the progress page will tell you your time and distance to top of descent, same as the 7.3 then. 4 pages of information here. So top of descent is 15:34, so 34 minutes. 270 miles to go. Guess this isn't modelled yet. This is for if you've got oceanic entry points and things like that, you need to be at a certain time. Alternate page. It can hold. I've tried it on the test sector. It could hold. Wonderful. Optimus 3.7 apparently. Gonna have a nice little tailwind shortly. The Magnite was a nightmare. Way better than the Magnite. Interesting. No trick show, with the exception of the EFB and maybe better sounds, this has to be close to the quality Wing 787 for free. So long as you've got the premium deluxe version of Microsoft Flight Simulator, yes. I have to say, out the box, it's very, very good. And I can only compare. I fly the NG and the Max, so I can only compare it to that. But it's doing lots of and the displays, which are, don't forget, the displays are identical to the Max. There's a few additional features like this here, the bottom's slightly different, but we have all of this, and that, and it's superb. Matic agrees with Noah, excellent. Yeah, it doesn't have an EFB at the moment, or YAR. Just remember there are other important things working title could work on. I think this is plenty good, absolutely. The only gripe I have is with the displays in the EFO PFD. It's the wrong way round. Oh yeah, yeah. this, guys, this is meant to be over here. Yeah, they've just copied and pasted that onto there. Well spotted. I hadn't even noticed that. Yeah, so Mike, this is wrong. This should be on the right-hand side, and the PFD on the left. Yes, hopefully in time they'll be able to just reverse that around. Great spot there, Mike. JTFF mud. I think there's a bug though. If you put a speed restriction out to the VNAV descent, you basically lose VNAV. Ah, okay. It's been like that since day one. I was hoping they would have fixed it by now. Have you flown the beta, Mike? Matej, have you tried the 737 MAX by iFlight? I haven't. Oh, Alfie Douglas, I don't know if you're still here. I missed your membership ping. Thanks for being a member for 47 months. Says at work trying to fix the lawnmower. I've given up, decided to watch this instead. Cheers, Alfie. I don't know if you're still here, but I completely missed that ping up there. Thank you very much. Ah, Mike, you did a live Discord tutorial when it came out for everyone. Was that off the beta though? I think that might have been. Was that the beta, this version that came out a month ago, Mike, or was that the one that you did a couple of years back? Florin, how different is the present status different to study level add-ons? I mean, study level, I mean, anyone could describe what a study level aircraft is. Different people have different opinions of what a study level aircraft is. I think if you were to put this in the marketplace or online and download it, you could justify charging for this. I do mean that. I think they'd need to add a little of additional features. It's like it's better than like a light version, if you know what I mean. But if they get the EFB up and running, fine tune the odd thing here and there, it's a payware aircraft almost. But you know they could have put this on the marketplace. But it's I'm that impressed by it. Oh yeah, Mike. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, 2 years ago, that was the default 787. It was woeful. I mean, it was so woeful. I flew it once pre-release of Microsoft Flight Simulator when I got early access, and it was pants. I think this update here, I mean, if you actually look at the release notes for this, they're absolutely huge. Let me try and find them. I think they're on the FS Elite website. Here we go. Release today. Let me just share this with you guys. How do I do this? Not about sharing the screen, unfortunately. It's basically, this is the update. So it's a comprehensive visual overhaul of the avionics, accurate font symbology, look, operation and feel, visually accurate PFD, apart from obviously the first officer's PFD. Independent MFD, ND, CDU screens, advanced flight plan support. It's got ACARS, radius detect, intercepts, holds, procedural turns, missed approaches. Alternate diversions can be loaded. Integrated checklist on the MFD, which we've seen. Full synoptics page, reworked ICAS with full engine indication display, and a significant increase in the amount of CAS messages. Performance-based VNAV with idle descent capabilities. Advanced VNAV configuration. Fully featured autothrottle system with correct autothrottle modes, functionality and communication. Updated thrust management system supporting cost index, thrust limitation, assumed temperature D rates. Fully featured autopilot, including auto-land capability. Integrated approach navigation, RMP approaches, TCAS. It's huge list. There's no limitations at the moment. Both environmental control system, air conditioning are work in progress, and synoptics for these are disabled right now. Okay. EFB for performance calculations not available. Calculations happening on the CDU automatically, which we've seen. Electrical systems and fuel systems and 7.4 need to overhaul. So it's a huge list of changes that have been made, or improvements here. Get my map out. Well, progressing quite well. There's my little aeroplane icon. There we are, Amsterdam's on, yeah, Schiphol's on the left here. Let's see if we can see Schiphol. Ah, there it is, there's Schiphol International Airport. There's the runway off in the distance. MG King, good enough for that sim? Yeah, I think so. It'll hold altitude heading, your routing, you can load up load up holds. However, some people have said in chat that if you modify a star, you lose VNAV. Can't quite there-ish. Down there, look. Automatic Start says, "Oh, Skipper, you can see my hangar down there. Excellent." Pilot Mike says, "That's not right." Uh-oh. What have you seen? Is the 787 finally viable for long-haul flights? I don't know. Yeah, Mike, yeah, it should recalculate the VNAV based on your modifications to Star. I think it could be bugged. Some people were saying, yeah, and they put in a new arrival, it just, VNAV just was bugged. Now, I don't, for this test sector, I don't want to touch anything, just so, you know, we can see what it does. There are a few little things it did on the approach area which I was a bit like, that ain't right. One of them was it was commanding a speed below the flat placard speed, which it could be a 7-8 thing, but we'll have to have a look later. Right, can we look at the overhead panel to see what works now? Yes, let's have a look. Guys, be sure to subscribe to Pilot Mike, and also, can you check out Mike's Instagram here? I know he shares some interesting pictures and fun things there. So Pilot Mike on Instagram. Mike, remind everyone of your Instagram page. I think it's called Pilot Mike, or did you rename it? I'm trying to find it. Mike Sierra. Oh, I don't know. Was that your first one? Yeah, I wasn't sure. Mike Sierra Charlie, guys. As I said, been to school with, known him for 20 years. A 787 first officer has jumped in here to give lots of interesting input. So be sure to follow him on Instagram. Thanks, Mike, again for your input. I should have dropped you a message, but also it was such a short notice planned stream. Yeah, I didn't have a chance to message you or plan anything. Literally only installed it this morning.
Minimums, approaching minimums.
Warlord Simulations, thanks for 29 months to the member, buddy. This new 7.8 looks very good. Night and day different to the old default. Absolutely, I agree with you. Thank you very much for your support as a member as well, but I couldn't agree with you more. World, day and night better than the previous default one here. Having said that, there are some interesting wiggles there on that blue sign ones we'll have to look at later. We'll have to see what's going on. Could be the Vista Bridge. Mike said, have a look at the 7.8. Beautiful HUD makes me want to kiss the screen now compared to how it was before. Yes, the HUD was rubbish, but look at it now. Yeah. Obviously, there's some limitations with it, I think, but it sort of does display quite accurately. Thumbs up for Pilot Mike, absolutely. Oh, so that's maybe what happened to me. AT gave me another runway and had no VNAV path on the AD. Yeah, maybe it's a bug at the moment, Leonardo Lima. You're not the first person to report it, but they changed the star or the rival, and VNAV just lost VNAV, and there was no guidance at all. Florin, I had all PMDG products. Excellent. Bakar, so you're a real Boeing pilot. What do you think about this 787? I think it's really good. Pilot Mike is the one you want to be asking, who's just commented below you. Thanks, Pilot Mike. So you mentioned speed below the flat placard speeds. That's simulated correctly to the real plane. Very interesting. I'm glad you brought that up, because when I saw it earlier, I was like, ooh, that can't be right. Obviously, in the 7.3, you bug manually. You can never bug below a flat placard speed. And I was thinking, why would it be bugging a speed below the flat placard speed? So I guess you just extend the flaps at the relevant point. It's a gotcha in the 7.8 777. Really interesting. AFO 3310, I was super excited for the 787 in the initial release. Looked amazing, but without this systems or realism, I haven't touched it since release date. Exactly the same as me. Can't wait to hop back in. Yes, it's worthwhile taking for a spin. Really impressed with what's improved. Right, let's have a look at the overhead panel, Mike. I think most of it is modelled. A lot of the switches were working, but not all. So the first ones I went to, look, guarded, can't press them. IRS, you can. This is not modelled. All the electrics here are. You can flick on and these switches. Wipers are. The HUD brightness. This is. The electric hydraulic pumps. The engine hydraulic pumps. These aren't. The window heat backups. Passenger oxygen's not. This isn't. This is. This isn't. This isn't. This isn't. This isn't. This is a lot not modelled. This isn't. So yeah, pretty much all that up there is not modelled. Fuel jettison is, or to a degree. I can't. Do not jettison at flat 30. Fuel system is. None of it. That is. Yeah, so it's like 3/4 modelled. Seem to be able to select half of it. That sim will be full of 7.8s and 7.4s for a while. Absolutely ravage.
Welcome.
If ATC wasn't a thing, the 7.8 would just fly a full autolander. All you have to do is move the flaps at the correct point. Crazy. I'm not. You have to arm the system before testing fuel. I'm not trying that today. I'll run out. Welcome aboard, old Mina Police. Hope you're doing well. Aaron just noticed 7.8's cockpit doesn't have armrests. Good lord, the humanity. No, where are they? Or maybe they're there, but they're not. Oh. No, look, they are there. They're tucked in, but they can't be clicked out. Refund. Refund of the free product. It's just so nice in here. What a beautiful... I've been in a 7.8 cockpit before. It is such a great workplace. Also, I've got rid of the control column there. So much space in here. You've got 2 jump seats. They've got their own individual cup holders. Superb. It's your refund. Absolutely, Ravage. I'm sure Working Title will add more features in the future. Let's hope they do. Kinetic, is AAT released now? If so, can I opt out of the beta? Yes, I didn't opt into the beta because I think you had to reinstall Microsoft Flight Simulator, which I just didn't want to do. But yeah, it's all available now. Looking nicely. Right, now let's try a step climb or something. We're at 3.5 here. So, I mean, there's several ways you can do this in the 7.3. 3.7. Execute. Now, let's see if it says reset MCP out. So I've set 3.7. Oh, interesting. It's adding thrust. There, I pushed it. Thrust reference F VNAV speed, so we're doing a step climb 3.7 now. The 7.8 looks so good, can't decide between the 7.8 or the A350. Let me decide for you, Alpha 3310, the 787. I know it doesn't have a tray table. Philip Sobel, can I ask, is this a study level module? No. It's a lot of systems not modelled, it would seem on the overhead panel, but it's very, very good. Can you fly on that sim accurately, following operational flight plans, climbing and descending and routing and holding? Absolutely. It's just that it seems, I think, modifying the arrival can cause issues. But yeah, Mike, that's a big bug he's noticed here. That's on the left-hand side. Can you set the A cell select between auto and 1,000? You can. So there we are, auto 1,000. So 1,000 for increments, and then autos 100 for increments. And in the auto, is there a way when ATC clears you to a higher level via CPDLC, you can copy it and copy it onto the MCP, can't you? Welcome aboard there, Tom, as a member. Hope you're doing well. Glad you joined the content. Join as a member. You get invited to our members only Discord. Hope you enjoy using the customization channel. Thank you very much for the support. Yeah, 37,000 feet. We're cruising at decimal 83. Still don't like this TPR setting. Yeah, I'll have a look at that sound pack for the Rolls-Royce Trent 1000s, aren't they? Simon, maybe a bit of a heavy question. Have you ever had to restrain a passenger or assist cabin crew of an unruly passenger? No, I haven't, Simon, thankfully not. In fact, we are told by the company that in the event of a passenger needing restraining or being arrested, we are not, as flight crew, to intervene. Let the cabin crew deal with it because they're trained to deal with it. You know, I'm happy to go into cabin to sort of talk about delays and significant issue, you know, delays for those reasons in front of everyone. But if we have an unruly passenger, the cabin crew are told to deal with it. Mike says I'd fly transatlantic usually requesting decimal 85 and sometimes go straight to 430 if we're light enough. Very cool. How to find out remaining duration of flight, says Mihir Ashir. It's in the progress page, or it's on both the cruise page. So you've got, well, top of descent is at 15:31, 108 miles away, and then we should be arriving into Leipzig at 15:54. This up here is just as the crow flies as a straight line, but if I was to bring up Navigraph, there we go. We've got to travel past the airport and then do a 180-degree turn onto 27 right. TPR is for the Rolls-Royce engines on the 7.8. What does it actually mean? Yeah, General Electric, they probably just have N1, don't they? Mostly the EFB is unusable. I don't know if they're going to be working on it. I know they've got SimBrief integration coming. Mercer's, can you tell us one strange fact or a myth about pilots? No, I don't know. Eddie. Quite a normal chap, really. Afo, are you still flying a line, or does your company have you back in the sims? No, I'm just a line pilot for now, Afo 3310. I have been since I did the command upgrade in end of 2018, so over 4 years ago now. I have considered returning to the simulator as a TRI potentially in the future. I do enjoy the flying a lot, but I also really enjoyed being an instructor as well, and it's very busy on the line at the moment, but the simulator is very busy, so it's something I've considered. Oops, that was me. I just knocked the control column command. Interestingly, there seems to be some weird weather. The weather radar depiction here is not great. Now, we had a look yesterday, a couple of days ago. We did a fun Microsoft Flight Sim group flight, and Navigraph got this excellent update which now depicts weather on the simulator, and it wasn't depicting this accurately. Now, looking at the weather radar and the rain ahead, the weather in Leipzig, by the way, is horrible. Look, you can see it's raining as well, so we could be descending through some weather, and it looks like Microsoft Flight Simulator could be depicting this as this ahead here. So the display on here is very inaccurate. You can't really use this for weather avoidance at all. It's all grainy and what's going on here. But if it's actually putting this in the simulator, that's pretty cool. Let's have a little look at reflectivity. I think this is for rain showers. So you can see, look, there's quite a lot of rain here. Cloud cover. Convective cloud top, so this is convective clouds, so probably thunderstorm, heavy rain showers, and it looks like it's moving towards Leipzig. Now let's have a little look at the METAR. This is really cool, this one. If you select METAR, oops, apologies, I love this one here. Where is it? METAR. Now you can see here, look, you have all of these circles. For example, red is IMC, so IMC, oh look, we've got IMC at Leipzig. So if we press this, look, get the weather. Airport. It's really good, this talk now. Oof! Look at this weather. Horrible. 26 right, landing on. We've got 340 at 21, gusting 34, 2,400 meters, moderate rain, mist, broken at 600 feet. Well, we're using an ILS down to minimums then. Oh, lovely live weather. 14 degrees, 1018. Beautiful. Thanks as well for getting that as well listed in. What's IMC? Instrument Meteorological Conditions, Scottish. Meta Yuck. Yeah, so this is going to be interesting. Let's see how both the 787 and Microsoft Flight Simulator depicts live weather. That's Hope Day weather. Yes, I mean, there's no thunderstorms, and it's windy. And I think if you select runways, you can see, look, the crosswind and landing tailwind. So it's a strong headwind and only a 5-knot crosswind component. So, you know, it's not nice, but it's well within limits. No, you won't want to do an auto land in those sort of wind conditions. Anyway, can we see? Yeah, look, I mean, and in the distance, there could be weather here. I have to say that's quite good, because when we did the group flight a couple of days ago, the depiction of live weather, or what we saw on Navigraph, was nothing like we saw in the simulator with live weather. Yeah, storms in Germany right now, wild. My street was completely underwater yesterday. Yeah, the whole, Lucas, of Europe has a lot of humidity and convective weather at the moment, much more than I've ever seen. I mean, put it this way, we're leaving the UK where there's thunderstorms and flying to Spain where there's also thunderstorms. It's just like, oh, I hate storms as well. We just take plenty of fuel and just hope they're not over the airport when we arrive, and if not, wait it out. But yeah, there's a lot of inclement weather and instability in the atmosphere at the moment. Delta Romeo Golf, how close is Navigraph charts of weather and the other bells and whistles to what you're using in real life as far as resources are concerned? If I'm perfectly honest, Delta Romeo Golf, this is far more powerful than what we have available to us in the real aircraft. It's superb. I'd love to have an interactive display like this. We just get the SIG weather charts and the METARs and TAPs. To actually have something like this in the cockpit would be amazing. As I said, the depiction of the live weather in Microsoft Flight Simulator is questionable at times, but yeah, we'll see how it is when we get down there. Right, for tropical pause, that's useful because generally the weather above the stratosphere is nicer, but convective clouds could easily get into the height of the troposphere past the tropical pause. I mean, anyone got? I'm going to have a quick look at the Windy app because that's very accurate. I use that sometimes before going on duty. Yeah, so I'm looking at the Windy app right now, and this is exactly the same as what we can see on the Windy app. Let me just show you quickly. There you go. So if you look at the, this is the Windy app, and look at the shape of that compared to the one that's written. This is very accurate. I use this prior to duty sometimes to see what's going on. And that's been depicted onto Navigraph really well. It's just that doesn't always transpose into the simulator. We'll have to have a look at that in a bit. Oops, I don't think I've got Navigraph on that one now. No, I don't. Perfect. Anyway, look, we've only got 40 miles from top of descent here. We best start setting up for the approach. Do you have to dash off after stream? Yes, we're going out tonight, so. Godfrey should be back, and then we're going straight out. Sort of. She's giving me permission to stream, but drop me a message because I think it'd be quite cool to do a video together. If we just fly this for like 30 minutes, and you can tell me what's right and wrong, or even join in on the stream. But I won't have much time today. It's a bit of an impromptu one. Right. Anyway, let me have a look here. VNav. Next page. Descent forecast. Oh, this is exactly the same. Raw. Right, let's see if I can get these winds in like I would in reality. That was so good. 222 at 21. Uh, 200. 238 at 6. 100.070. Wow, it's very low winds at 10,000 feet, but much windier on the ground. Don't need to execute those. So can I change this to 250 below 100? No, that's what we usually do. Okay, so that's all set. Yeah, I will do, Mike. I think I've got something in mind that we could do, and I might be able to do it next week at some point. No provocation times. I wonder if PMDG could use Navigraph for weather radar. Interesting. Looking forward to you trying the 747 as well someday. We will do, Supercow. Does it have pop-out displays as Papa Justify? It doesn't. Top Ace Cats, it's Friday. Absolutely. It must be getting quite late where you are in Thailand. Look at this. Right, so let's have a little look at this arrival. We've loaded up the FMC. I can't really do my fixed rings. just deselect the weather here temporarily. And we're flying a Kojek 1 Victor starting at Kojek. So let's go to the legs page. Plans here, look, you can step through your routing. They've done such a good job on this, guys. Really have. Kojek, and there we are. So we're going to go 420. Just get in a position where you can see all this here. Something like that. So we've got 420 from there to 421, 422, 423, downwind. I've been to the airport, it's putting us at 10,500. That seems a bit high. How far the final is that putting me out onto? Delta Papa via Lofto. Let me just see where Lofto is. No, it seems okay. Lofto mandatory 4,000. Okay, so it's mandatory 4,000. It seems to have put that in there. And at Delta Papa 438, so mandatory 4,000. Right, so what we're going to do is see if VNAV, so VNAV's going to work to put us at 4,000 feet at Lofto as per the chart. And then it's going to be a level segment for about 4 miles, then down to 3,000 feet onto the ILS. So I have to say, the way it's depicted, the chart onto the ND is really nice. It has all the restrictions in here. Impressive. Michael, correct me if I'm wrong here, but being a 787, I don't need to set the ILS frequency. I don't need to set the course. All I need to do is set the minimums, which for Cat 1, all categories, RVR 550, 648 feet. So I'll set 648 feet here. Let's go back to map. FMC message, probably. MCP altitude is set to cruise. Set lower altitude to enable VNAV descent. Is that the correct message, Mike? We'll set that shortly. And let me just set the minimums, 648. Coming into that weather as well. Oh, so sensitive. 648 set. Right, we'll set a lower MCP altitude. So looking at this arrival, well, we'll just set the MSA, I think, because there's no terrain issues. We'll go straight down to just go down to 4,000 feet, which is the bug level. So if I preset that, I'm pretty sure VNAV will start descending for us. As we are overhead Norta. Perfect. So yeah, straight on. Be careful here, the DME doesn't read 0 at the threshold, it reads 2 miles at 0.4, so 1.6 DME is the threshold here, 3 degree ILS. And landing performance then, we're going to go off at the end here, 3,600 metres, Alpha 2, because we need to taxi all the way Charlie, November, and then onto the main terminal here. Usually you'd vacate at Alpha 3 or something for spacing, but there's no ATC. I'm going to go for auto brake 1, based on that, and that's selected there. Oh, look at that weather! I have to say, that does look pretty good. What we have drawn on here. Look at this. I mean, you could even argue, you see this area here, where my mouse is, you could argue that's this here. This little hook bit here is this there. Right, watch FMAs now. It's like, let's have a look here. Right, we passed top of descent already. Oh, where's it gone? Uh-oh. Have we passed it? I think we've passed it, haven't we? It's not, it's done, it's, uh-oh, it's bugged. Refund, 120, yeah, we should be descending now. What happened to VNAV? Uh-oh. Right, let me push it. Shall I push it, Mike? Oh, it's there! Hello, profile! I think, yeah. Okay, I've now started descent, it started going down. So now it's at VNAV speed, it's going to pitch for the speed, it will probably parallel the profile. Okay, it worked for me on the test sector. Right, now I've got all these icing systems in auto, can I just leave that? God, it does look a bit tasty over there, doesn't it? Right, so if I was flying in the weather radar looked like that in real life, we'd be going this way. Round all the way around here. Wouldn't fly through this. If that was depicted like that, I would not go through that. mean, we're only 40 miles from here. We've got reds, yellows, thunderstorms. I think that's just exaggerating slightly because there's no thunderstorm activity forecast. Right, so a bit of spoiler. Yeah, so spoiler, you've got two options. You can either use spoiler to get back onto profile to keep with your planned cost index descent profile, or you can increase your target descent speed to build a steeper path. Now, I will use speed brake. It'll stay in VNAV speed, which is the bug speed of .828 on conversion, 318 knots. Speed brake seems I think the speed brake's a bit effective, isn't it, Mike? Oh my days. 7,000 feet per minute? Yeah, that's too much. That's too much. Right, well, we're coming back on profile. The speed brake is like a drogue chute, in my opinion. Let's see what happens when we get back onto profile. Hopefully, VNAV path. Yeah, that's not right. And yeah, there are VNAV path speed. Oh, what's this magenta line here? It was going so well. Oh, we're climbing. What's this pink magenta bug? Is that a 7-8 thing? Oh, thank you very much. Someone's just gifted 5 members. Just a member for over a year. The channel's gifted 5 membership. Welcome on board to all of the new members. I can't even turn it off, Juiced. I don't know why I can't see it there. But welcome on board all the new members. Hope you're doing well. You get invited to our members only Discord. Don't forget, to all existing members, we've got our group flight tomorrow. Love to see you join on in. So welcome Blade 929, Doctor on board, Delta Romeo Golf for Lucas, and pouring water. Right. Yeah, that's correct. 7.8. That's a VNAV speed target. Basically, it can maintain path with any speed in that magenta band. Interesting. So that's a bit Airbusy, isn't it? Because in the 7.3, it'll just pitch for the path. That's it, in path. So and the auto throttle, will it add and remove thrust to stay exact target speed, or just let the speed stay within that window? So it's now on idle, I think. Yeah, it has gone to idle. It's for members only. That's annoying. What's that behind skies? We do a members only monthly group flight. One group flight for the members. Otherwise, all regular viewers and subscribers are always welcome in all the streams. Oh, you're talking about the Discord? Yes, the Discord is for members only, yes. But I do provide a one-to-one service. What's up, Flight Sim? Looking handsome today. Well, thank you. Yes, and I must remind you, if you're a line pilot, don't do this. I would be probably holding off at Koenig if we had this much return. In fact, I'm just going to turn it off temporarily. Ooh, you get the weather on here as well, Mike. That's cool. So VNAV path, prioritise path over speed. When it's off path and the speed has speed, it prioritises speed to catch path. That's the same as the NG then. But we don't have this magenta bug here. So you can see, look, we're above all this horrible weather. Yeah, seems to be doing a good job depicting that. Guys, how much does it cost? It's £5 a month, but I'd not want to push it. People can join if they so wish and leave when they so wish. Have people coming in or going all the time. I'm very proud of the little community I've built with the members as well. Press the join button, you'll see all the perks you get as a member if you are so interested. Thanks for your consideration. Working weather radar, it's a bit over the top, and it seems to be moving with the aircraft, so it's sort of getting... Oh no, it is coming towards us now. I think it's sort of holding the path quite nicely now. We've got about 320 knots, 2,600 feet per minute. It's got a little bit high on speed, but remember, it's following the path, not the speed. Cheers, Pilot Skies. They are going into the soup. I mean, compared to what it was like before, absolutely perfect. Seatbelt sign on, yes, good idea. And let's have a look at checklist here. So descent, recall checked, order brakes set, landing data. We've not done that. That's why I do checklists. Oops. No. What have I done here? I want FMC. Hold on. ND. And then how do I get the FMC back down there? See, no, that does work. There we go. So landing performance, we'll call that the landing weight conservatively. That seems very fast. Flat 30, order brake 3 for 198 tons. I think the max landing weight's quite not that much heavier than that. I think it was like 202 or something. So landing quite heavy. With full flat 152 knots. Into the soup we go. Press CD, thank you. So yeah, if you're high on profile during descent, would you request a hold at descent waypoint? Would you hold it on nav waypoint off the star path? How long would the hold legs be? Great question, Seattle. There's many different ways. There's a very English saying here to skin a cat. Doesn't sound nice. But you can ask for delayed vectors, you can enter a hold, you can increase your rate of descent using speed brake. You've got to take into account the traffic around you as well. If you need more track miles though, don't bash on, advise ATC you need to go. Right, how do I update the transition level? Because we're well above it still here. That's usually VNAV forecast. Oh yes, what's the transition level here? Let me quickly have a look at a chart. It is by 60. Unable. Is it fixed, guys, at 180? Because we just simply put 60. I'm not seeing where I'm going here. Oh! Yeah, it's not having it. We're not in America. Ah! Clear. There we are. Let's watch what's going on. We'll set the QNH then. 1024. 1020. Transition level usually updates automatically when selecting the destination. Same as the 737 as well then. So still doing a good job. And let's just see how it copes with the decel. I might just use a smidge of speed brake just to get back to the target speed. It's extremely powerful though. If I extend the speed brake fully, yeah, that seems excessive.
Minimums.
2 tons. Put it in 6,000, not 60. Try 6,000. Stand by. Ah, that lights it. We should be able to put 60 though. If you was in the 7.3, you could. Although I can go back to standard now. There we are. Ugh. Turn the music off now. Right, into the soup we go. If we had accurate weather radar, I'd be wanting to do a 180-degree turn. That would be potentially quite nasty, especially with the shapes of it. Defined lines between green, yellow, and red. Yeah, we wouldn't be going into this in real life. But it's as smooth as, well, the smoothest thing you could think of. Hey, 2 tons, hope you're doing well. Getting ready to head out to FS Expo. Plan to meet up with members, 737 pilot and Realms whilst there. Excellent news, 2 tons. I know you did mention that you were going and you weren't able to make the group flights this weekend, but hope you have a great time. I look forward to seeing some pictures. Welcome aboard as well, APRAP 13. Right, so it looks like it's commanded 240. Where's the decel point? Remember, we're going to be right down to minimums here. Speed, captain. I know. Look, where's it? Why is it not slowing down? I think. Ah, here we go. Look, it's pitching up now. It's pitching up. But there should be a decel point here, and this blue cyan line is the missed approach, which seems to be depicted really nicely. Look, you see right turn after Lima Delta, and then to 40 bars out, got 40, and they've done a really nice curve on the ND. Looks really nice. But is there a decel point here? Usually, Mike, from your normal speed. DFW, there's a lot of red on that radar. Would you do that normally? Yes. If you were flying in through that, you wouldn't be anywhere near the airport. You would be wanting to fly through that. Via Jet 45, it's possible to do the distance ring fixes tried earlier with the runway point. Looks like we couldn't get them in, but we did other fix rings. No decel point, just follows what's in the FMC. Really interesting. So it's commanding 240 here, but it seems like it'll do it below 100. I mean, I think it's doing a reasonably good job. God, that's a dark cloud. The sim does look spectacular with these clouds. That is Germany below. And Leipzig's just off the right hand side there. Under there is our runway and our airport. Ooh, nice little rainbow there. Look at that. Superb. Isn't that pretty? Watch out, it doesn't take you below flat placard. Use speed intervention to prevent it. Yes. Now, this is great to hear, Mike, because I thought it was some sort of weird bug. So the 787 Mike was explaining earlier will command the speed below the placard speed. So you can open the speed window like this, and now it'll stay in path, but the auto throttle will add thrust to maintain, I think, this speed. So we'll just do 240. So it's gone to speed now, look, but it will stay in path now because we're on the vertical profile. That's the same as the VNAV common update we got on the 737 a year or two ago. Kerry, weather radar in Microsoft Flight Sim is just a rain map, right? I think that's a great way of putting it. It does not depict sort of rain intensity very well. So, Mike, is there no decel point now? Is there anywhere where it says, right, this is where we'd like to start slowing down for the approach? Mike, you've noticed a bug on the ND. What's that? What's that? Speed brake still armed. Don't need that armed. So I'm just going to maintain 240 knots now. It's gone to hold still. Ugh. And if you get a lot of icing, Mike, I mean, you just simply, there's nothing, do you switch this from auto to on, or just leave it in auto? No decel, but it will show you where the speeds are. Now, if I go to data, oh no, it doesn't have the speeds, just the ETAs. This is quite cool. So if you've got the traffic on the ND, you should have that on really. Oh, it's got a VSD. No, not models, guys, so no. Icing systems leaving auto except on ground, you switch to on in icing conditions. Well. So back to idle. The flat one placard speed is 260 knots, which I'll select turning base, and we can step down to 4,000 feet on the arrival. And remember, we're going to turn self-position after 429 onto the ILS, and then we'll step down to 3,000. Well, 4,000. No, we'll leave 4,000, guys, because VNAV, remember, is going to maintain, is descending vertically to be at 240 knots at lofto. So it is going to put us low on the glide slope, and you can see on the NPS scales, look, there's no DME here, but we've got localizer information and glide slope information as a hollow white diamond. Very cool. No alpaca livery, hopefully in time. Fuel we've got on board 7.7, planned for 6.4. I think the fuel burn has been spot on. Kind of wild. I've noticed the airspeed indicator in the aircraft and the PMDG 73 seems a little sensitive. Is that accurate to real life, or is it smoothed out in the real plane? That's Microsoft Flight Simulator for you. Microsoft Flight Simulator wind modelling. We see how it's constantly changing like this, and then the airspeed's reacting to that. It happens in all aircraft from Microsoft Flight Sim. Are you using DLSS? I don't think so, Morsey. It's yeah, DX11. No other fancy stuff than that. Right, so you can see we're going to get low on the glide path. That's fine. We have to comply with the restriction on this arrival, which is a mandatory 4,000 feet at lofto. That's what we're testing here. So we are going to go below the vertical profile here. If that wasn't the case, we're going to go vertical speed. I think it's trying to mimic the turbulence. Yes, I agree. Right, I'm going to go flap 1 now. Now that's blinking. I'll bug the flap 1 speed. The path, I think, though, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, has done quite a good job at getting us at 4,000 feet here at lofto. It looks like it's going to do it. Alright, now we'll set the QNH 1017 approach checklist. So frequencies I don't need to worry about, courses I don't need to do about. We don't have fixed rings here. Idents, India Lima November Whiskey, India Lima November Whiskey, standby instruments. Oh, that's not modelled unfortunately, can't approach. That's set. And we'll do a recall. There we are, checklist. So descent check's complete. Approach, altimeters are set. Check's complete. Next is the landing checklist. Yeah, I have to say, it's done a very, very good job. Look at this, 4,000 feet at Lofto. Our company approach is just altimeters set. Love that. We do an acronym which checks the frequencies, makes sure we've got our fixed rings in. We check the idents, standby instrumentation, and the courses. But you've got a 7.8 bike. It does it all for you. Yeah. Look at this though, bike. 4,000 feet at Lofto. I think that's a pretty good job. It's turning now at Lofto, and look at that. We've got a little high. Look, we're just technically. It was a bit early sequencing the next waypoint there. You should wait until the real aircraft you're directly overhead the waypoint before it sequences to the next one. Right, we'll go flap 5. I'll bug the flap 5 speeds. VNav out. Level off, level off, level off. Next restriction is 4,000 feet mandatory at 438. Then we need to step down to 3,000 feet mandatory at COSAM. VSD Simly Bob is not modelled. We tried it on Jim's ND. It's so dark here, and that's actually the lighting here is very, very nice. Like if it's this dark and heavy rain, it's just as dark as it goes. I didn't do the post cruise checks, but never mind. Fuel lights, bang pressurization, seat belts are on, checks complete. Storm light's not modelled. Yeah, that's not. Yes, if that was actual thunderstorms, not great. Right, we're going to step down to 3,000 feet now. Still quite far away from the airport, 20 miles. And that's 3,000 feet. So we've got to be mandatory 4,000 at Delta Papa 438, and then 3,000 feet at Delta Papa 437, then COSAM. Well, actually COSAM, so I can now, if I push this, will it descend? Yeah, VNav speed idle. So it's going to descend to 3,000 feet. Mike, yeah, his weather radar's off then, there's no weather to avoid. Smart. Oh dear. Checked. I don't think there's no India November Lima Whiskey. There should be India Lima November Whiskey, there should be DME. Oh no, there's no DME here. It's based off of Lima November Delta, so that is accurate. So we've got localizer and glide slope. Again, remember this is oh look, it's doing a very shallow profile to be at 3,000 feet at COSAM, that's great. And then we'll intercept the ILS there. So I'll arm Vorlock now. So lock capture, runway heading 263 is set. And you'll see the MPS scales, when we get glide slope capture, will disappear as well. Check out Showcase Camera 12, pretty awesome. What's that? Ah, I had no time. Look at this crosswind here as well. It's a very smooth crosswind. Right, approaching 1 dot, alarm approach. Glide slope armed. What's the gear down flap configuration, Mike? I'm going to go to flap 10 now. Oops. And that's actually at a slower speed. So at what point is a gear then unable to maintain VNav descent speed? That's fine. Has a few quirks, but the RNAV VNav is very well behaved, which is good. Yeah, it does seem good. 10 is a takeoff flap setting. Yeah, when you drop the gear, do you select flaps as well? What flaps? Go flap 15 first. Okay. So a flap 10, 180 knots, about 10 miles here. About to get glide slope capture. The missed approach altitude is 4,000 feet. So glide slope capture, missed approach altitude, 4,000 feet set. Gear down flap 20, that's what I was looking for. Thank you very much. We'll go flap 15. I love it, look, it's got 17 as well. Do you ever use 17 just on its own? Recorder, thank you. Gotta have a flight recorder going. It's on. Right, so gear down, flap 20. Match speed, landing checklist. So speed brake. I'm trying to arm it. Armed. Landing gear down. Flaps. We're going to select flap 30. Maximum speed for flap 30 is 180 knots. And we've got such a strong crosswind. I'm just going to back about flap 0 plus 10. Parking brake. Oh, wonderful. Right, gear down. Flap 30. Speed brakes armed. Checklist complete. Oh, lovely. And we've got a 25 knot crosswind. If anyone wants to get the actual wind, we've got roll out and flare. So if I don't do anything, it will do an auto land. I don't know how I turned the parking brake on. I can reassure you it was off for takeoff. Well, I really hope it was. Oh, Dolno Rosina, thank you. And Listerman, here is the latest weather. I'm going to have to keep the autopilot in here down to minimums. I'm just overriding the auto throttle here slightly. 34017, 3,300 metres, rain, drizzle, overcast 15 degrees. Looks pretty realistic to me. Checked. I'm trying to get a good position here. God, but it's horrible, horrible. I have to say that the depiction of this weather though is excellent. I don't like how the autopilot... Where are we going? Stop turning right like that. Normal landing is done with auto throttle on. What? What is this witchcraft bike? What? I'm gonna have to disconnect it. Oh my god! I don't know if we're gonna see anything at minimums here. Checked. Oh, get ready to disconnect. Oh, approach lights in sight. I'm disconnecting auto throttle. I don't know. Okay, what Mike says. Oh god, there's a little cloud coming here. Checked. Oh. Continue. Autopilot off. 2 reds, 2 whites. Oh, I've got a gnarly crosswind, haven't I? Oh my days.
50, 40, 30.
Check.
20,
Close.
10.
Left rudder, right hand run into wind. Oh, a bit firm with there though. Oh my god. Oh, I just don't. Oh, I've got full left rudder. I've got full left rudder. Right. Speed brakes up reverses. Why are my reverses not working? That was a really gnarly. Right, I'm holding down F2. There we go. It just doesn't feel like a 30 knot crosswind to me. I'm having to... What? It's weathercocking to the left. It should be the other way. Manual braking. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that's not working. Welcome to Leipzig. Oh my days. Right, that doesn't make any sense to me, guys. Right, the crosswind's coming in from the right. Okay, it's weathercocking to the left. It should be weathercocking to the right. It's doing it wrong. The crosswind's from the right. Okay, here's my hand. Weathercocking for the right. The nose is going to go to the right. Okay, I let go of the rudder and it was weathercocking to the left. That is completely opposite to what it should have been doing. So I used the... What? Right, what's the surface wind? Can someone just confirm the surface wind to me? Have I got it the wrong way around? Is that saying it's coming from that direction? Well, look at this weather. Thank God we're offline. What was the surface wind? 340 at 23. No, it's the windsock's wrong. What? I don't understand. 340 at 23. Let me just go to plan. Because my head. Oh, I can't even get that on there. Right, so the wind's coming from here. Okay. So I basically applied rudder, and it had, it had the wrong effect. Something's not right with the wind here. I don't know if it was the display on the aircraft or the wind in the simulator, but the windsock was opposite to what I was expecting. Anyway, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Leipzig. What a gnarly landing! God, flipping heck! Absolutely horrible weather conditions. Yeah, that was right. I let go of the rudder, and the aircraft should have weathercocked. What was the surface wind? 340. So it should have weathercocked to the right. It weathercocked to the left. So I have absolutely no idea. It was all opposite. So I used rudder, which actually exasperated the issue. Someone says get the METAR. Let's have a look here. I just wish they could sort this out in the sim. Heathrow? No, Leipzig. 340 at 23. So we landed on the runway west. The windsock was in the wrong direction. I'm gonna have to go check that windsock. Hold on, give me 2 secs. We'll just set the parking brake here. I need to know this. Right, parking brake set. I'm gonna go investigate this windsock. It's really annoying me. Right, how do I? God, I can hear the wind. Right, it's a good job I'm offline here. Let me just check out this windsock. Let's crank up the old drone speed. So, my calculator. So we landed on runway 27. Yes, this is inaccurate. Look at this windsock. It's saying the wind's coming in here from the south. Okay, the wind's coming in from this direction, the northwest. This is so the landing there was completely weird. That wind is saying it's coming from the southeast, if anything, because we landed on runway 27. This is north, this is south, and the wind's saying it's coming from the southeast. It's about 90 degrees off, basically. Well, no, not even that. It's about 180 degrees off the wind here. They modelled the windsock backwards. It's the correct direction, but wrong way round. But still, that wouldn't explain why I had to use right rudder, or whatever it was. It was opposite to what I was expecting anyway. I don't know, but anyway, we'll get back in here, we'll look at the replay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Leipzig. Can I say a massive thank you to Mike for all his assistance here as well on this stream, answering all your questions there. It's not the windsock, it's actually the wind. Maybe the wind is Leipzig is always backwards. Maybe. Right, let me just release the parking brake. Let's go on to stand here. And this is the Microsoft Flight Sim scenery for, I think it's like they had it updated for one of the other ones. Unfortunately, the wipers don't do anything apart from move very quickly. They're not actually wiping at all. Might as well just turn those off then. There we go. Mike the Goat. MS said my wind socks are overrated. Use clear sky weather and set wind to 270 to check out if it's broken. Something was weird there. Because if the wind was coming from that direction, you'd be using left rudder to maintain centre line. Right rudder, the wind's going to push the vertical stabiliser, weathercock you to the right, use left. And I applied left rudder and it just made the situation worse. And then I was having to use, I can't even think now. I was having to use right rudder, I think, to, oh my god, I hope that doesn't. It seems to be a bit of a, fine, went straight over it. Yeah, so this is the Leipzig Microsoft Flight Sim scenery. I'm going to taxi in, let me just grab the charts. It always feels funky in this sim. I can't do accurate decrabs or crosswind landings in it at all. Take the second left here on November and then we'll park right in front of the terminal. It's absolutely teaming it down, isn't it? Right, next left. Otherwise, apart from that interesting landing, right down to minimums, I give the working title 787 7.5 out of 10. 10 being perfect, so I think that's a pretty fair score. You know, for something that is completely free, if you've got the premium deluxe version, you're getting a lot of plane here. Very impressed, if I have to say so myself. Right, let's do a bit of a clean up here then. If you start, turn off the landing lights, transponder to, where is it? Transponder, trim will set to whatever the default is, we'll go for 6 units. 6 units set. Flight directors are off. 4,100. Strobes can come off. Propheat you don't have to worry about. The rest is done because it's a 7.8. Forklift here to guide me in. Not 7.8 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10 is a marked improvement from the original release. We don't reset trim on land that you have to float. Oh, you 787 pilots are lazy, right? You don't have to do anything. See, I am hardwired, guys, into flying 737s. We don't reset trim on after that. Oh god, I read that one. Yeah, I'm hardwired to fly the 7.8, so I'm doing everything I know in the last 2 years. Take this first bridge to the left. Excellent. I won't turn too early. I have to say the wet apron looks very, very nice. That's full left on the tiller. Full left. Just taxiing in this sim is a real high workload. SETI, spoilers, engine ignition, transponder, ice? I don't know. Don't have any fancy things guiding me in here. But yeah, overall, really, really impressed with this aircraft. Fuel burn was spot on. We've landed with 7 tons. Coming in a bit hot. That'll do. Like brake sets, and it's a 7.8. I just got to turn the engines off. It's going to burn the APU generator automatically. I literally have to do nothing. Where's the extended engine display? N2. That's below 20%. Turn off the beacon lights. There we go. Is that it? I don't have to do anything. Shutdown checklist. I'll do the shutdown checklist. Hydraulic panel set. So I think is this off? It is now. Fuel pumps off. Oh, so easy. Flaps are up. Parking brake set. Fuel control switch is cut off. That's done. Next is a secure checklist, which we're not going to do because we want to do the replay. Amazing. Belts off. Yes, sorry. There we go. Chest complete. Yeah. Very, very good. Not bad at all. What a beast. Can you take this on VATSIM? Absolutely. I'd happily take this on VATSIM. And I'm going to do it next week. And we'll do the replay as well. Yeah, interesting approach though. I've had this issue in the past in Microsoft Flight Simulator where we had a really strong crosswind. And we've looked at the live weather, and this is the crosswind. It was actually the opposite. Now, coming over the runway, it would have made sense where the aircraft position was than where we were crabbing. That it was the correct wind, but when I applied rudder to decrab, it sort of went in the opposite direction. I was like, hey, so I don't think that something was quite right there. Would you call this 787 expert mode? I mean, you know that Microsoft have their expert series, the ATR. It falls in the same category as the new ATR, I'd say. So as far as Microsoft would define it as expert series, yes, it falls into that category. Compared to sort of like PMDG, Phoenix, they've got a lot more work to do. You know, regarding EFB and things like that, like loading cargo and fuel's a bit of a. I don't like using default Microsoft Flight Sim, but as a sort of like features, they've added like Boeing features such as the displays on the NDPFD, the autopilot. I think Aaron just said there it was quite twitchy. I agree, but it did a quite good job. VNAV seems to do a good job at putting you on profile. Again, this is a complex aircraft they're trying to model here, and I think they've done a reasonably good job in putting what the 787 flies and handles like and sounds and feels like, with the reactions and the instrumentation quite well. So yeah, as I said, 7.5 out of 10, or 8.7 out of 10. It's Xbox Series, unbelievable. It has such a 757 like nose. No, it doesn't at all. It has one like that funny little worm. Where are the switches to release chemtrails? Can't tell you that, Red Cow. Daniel B says, if you hardwired for the 7.8, I'm a bit worried for your passengers and your job. Yes, I'd be worried if I was hardwired to 7.8. Did I say that? But yeah, Mike, I don't know if you're still here. Thank you very much for all of your inputs. We'll be happy to give more assistance with you on a longer sector. We can talk more about the 7.8. That sounds good, Mike. We'll get something sorted. So now we know we just landed 7.8 fair weather. No. This is Microsoft Flight Sim. I find it in these sort of tough conditions just not realistic at all. And I'm talking not just the 7.8, the PMDG, other aircraft in sort of like 25-30 knot plus crosswind. I can't get it. I do what I do in the real plane. I just can't get it to translate into Microsoft Flight Sim. It does work much better in X-Plane. It's better than it is in Microsoft Flight Sim. It's not perfect, but that was a 25-30 knot crosswind there. Auto throttle on for landing, it'll retard at 20 feet RA. There you go. I just didn't want to do that at all, because if you do that in the 7.3, it'll bite you and you'll add thrust. So yeah, crazy. I'll have to trust you on that one, Mike, and just do it next time. But yeah, look at this weather. Absolutely awful now. But I'm glad we flew this sector. Hope you enjoyed it. Would I recommend this aircraft? Absolutely. Download it if you've got the premium deluxe version of Microsoft Flight Sim, whatever it's called. It's a free update now. The Avionics and Aircraft 2 sim update, I think it's called. And give it a go. So tell me what you think in the video description below as well. Right then, so let me do my professional live streaming stuff here. We'll activate the replay function. Let me jump back into the cockpit. If we're actually going to see anything here, well, let's do the first one from the cockpit. I don't know how this is going to work. I've never done it in the 787. Let me just make sure I've got this turned on here. Excellent, excellent, that's all good. Let's cue the funky replay music first. That's working. Replay. Okay. That's put me out here accurately. Let's get a little bit closer to the runway here. Lots of noises. There we are. So let's just watch from the cockpit here. So if I was to look at this, so let me just pause this here. So the crosswind was coming from the right, wasn't it? So this was correct. I think the island, it shouldn't put you as far downwind as that. So when I disconnected, I wasn't in the best position. So if I just replay slightly, so I think I disconnected about here. It wasn't too bad actually. And then I started correcting towards the centre line. So I'm a little bit far downwind here. That's not the nicest position to be in when you've got a strong crosswind coming in here from the right, because you're already right of centre line. So I think there you go. You see I'm corrected towards the centre line here, and then now I'm back on the centre line. There's my check. I put left rudder in, which was good, and then I started applying left rudder to get back onto the centre line. But I was having to use right rudder now. I was having to use so much right rudder. And then I had to keep the right rudder in. Right rudder right now to stay on centre line. It should be left rudder with the wind coming in from the right. I was having to use right rudder throughout this whole rollout, which is wrong. Wind's from the right, okay, which is pushing on the vertical stabiliser, which weathercocks the nose to the left, you need to the right, you then need to use left rudder to maintain centre line. And I was having to use right rudder throughout that entire rollout. That's completely wrong. 180, it should be left. Pilot bike's got it, rudder away, aileron in, so that's exactly what I did. I'll talk you through it again. So here was left rudder for the crap, which was correct, and then I should have had to keep using left rudder throughout the rollout. So I'm using left rudder to get back on centre line, centred it here, and then I used right rudder here, and then all of a sudden I went to put left in, and then it was going that way. So and then I was using right rudder now, right rudder. You can see the wind here actually. Look, so the ND depiction of this is accurate, but I was having to use right rudder to stay on centre line. Just really bizarre, really bizarre. Anyway, let's have a little look from outside. That was horrible weather. I didn't like the feeling in the landing, that's all. But we saw the runway at minimums just. I'll check the 7.4. Yes, I will check the 7.4 in time. I think I'll do another 7.8 one, but it won't be until next week now, guys. I'm busy tomorrow, and I'm flying on Sunday. Maybe on standby on Monday or Tuesday.
40, 30,
So you can see, hopefully see my rudder here.
10.
It's not modelled. So, so the rudder unfortunately isn't modelled, but I used left rudder here to get back on centre line. And then I was back on centre line, and then I just started using the rudder, and it was working in the opposite direction. So I was like, what? I was having to use right rudder on this rollout. It was just weird. It was so counterintuitive. Looks very pretty though. Standard landing for someone new to time. Unbelievable. Let's have a little look from here. Well, the engines aren't doing much. That's concerning. I'll blame the replay tool. Yeah, I'll look at that sound pack as well for the 7.8.
50, 40, 30.
And that obviously wouldn't be heard either.
10.
Oh, crunch! I was a bit off the centre line there. I've seen worse. Yeah, unfortunately, speed brake. I've got to extend it manually, I think, but none of the animations are working on the replay, unfortunately. No. Right. Pretty good, pretty good. Right, let me find you a good view for the landing. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to remember how to change. I think there's a window view here. Oh, yes, I think that one's going to be the best one, isn't it? Let's pop you in there for the approach and landing, so you can see. Oh, look at that wing flex. That's going to please a lot of people. Right, I'll put you from there, so you can enjoy the approach. Resume replay. There we go. So that's it, guys. Yes, as I said, if you've got the Sim Deluxe Microsoft Flight Sim top version, you'll be able to download this update. Very good, I think, overall. I've given it quite a fair test from A to B. We didn't fiddle around with too much, but it did a good job getting us from A to B here. Mike's been so useful today, finding any bugs and glitches, and he spotted those out. I'll see if he can join me on a next stream and provide a sort of one-on-one information, or maybe record a video for you guys. I think you'd enjoy seeing that. Please go check out Mike Sierra Charlie's Instagram as well. Thanks a lot for coming in, Mike. Appreciate that. To everyone that donated, thanks for your generosity. To all the members and the new members that joined the channel, thank you for coming on in. Don't forget, we've got the members group flight tomorrow, Saturday, so be sure to join if you do so wish to. And all the regular subscribers and viewers, thank you very much for popping in. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date with the latest content. Guys, enjoy your Friday evening, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Cheerio.